So you're interested in getting an iPad, but you're unsure which one you should get because Apple recently updated all their iPads and it's a little confusing. Well, in this video, I'll share a framework with you to help you choose a new iPad, whether you're upgrading your existing or you're brand new to the iPad game. What's going on, everyone? It's Mike from Tech247.tv, bringing you the best in unboxing, reviews, and product guides. Here on this channel, we do the analysis of the various bits and bytes that transcend technology only to find their way into your pocket, in addition to buyer's guides like this. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. You might like it. So today we're talking the wonderful world of iPad. So we have both the new generation 11-inch and 12.9 in addition to the 9.7-inch and the 10.5. And we're going to bridge this conversation in two different ways. So one, are you brand new to iPad? And then two, are you upgrading your existing iPad? So the first section is going to be, are you new to iPad? And really, I think that the perfect starting point for majority of people, and when I say majority, I think about 80%, are going to be fine with the features on the 9.7. So the 9.7, it was just refreshed in this year. It has the A10 processor, it supports the Apple Pencil, it's got a number of great features, making it a highly usable product and highly flexible product, where I think it would, again, being the best fit for most people. What really is going to compel me to compare, to upgrade, is going to be to compare the 9.7-inch against the 10.5. So the 10.5, really what you're getting in addition or incrementally from the 9.7 is the always-on keyboard, right? Or the ability to have an always-on keyboard, because that is not included. The better processor, which is the A10X over the A10, and then also the better camera system. So the 10.5-inch has the cameras from the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. That said, right, this costs $330 for 32 gigabytes versus $650 for 64 gigabytes. So you have almost double the cost. If the Pencil is something that you want to purchase, it's going to be a charge no matter which way you go. The lowest all-in price for the 9.7-inch with the Pencil, right, that's going to be $430. If you want to add a Bluetooth keyboard, maybe another $50, $75. So you're somewhere just under $500. Well, here with the 10.5-inch, this is going to cost you $650, right? You have another $160 for the keyboard. You have $100 for the Apple Pencil. This is about $800, a little bit over $800. So you have at least a cost difference of about $300. And so you have to ask yourself, is the dedicated, is the always-on keyboard worth $300? And I think for most people, it's not going to be. You already know who you are. If you want an iPad that has a dedicated keyboard, you're answering yes right away. But for most people, again, this is probably the perfect starting point, and just finding a Bluetooth keyboard, either on Amazon or at the Apple Store, will be sufficient for most workflows. But then, you have a question to yourself. If you want the always-on keyboard, is it worth going to the 11-inch or possibly the 12.9? Now, if you haven't already seen my video, I'll link it up above, but I did compare the 10.5 in depth against the 11-inch, and I think the conclusion that I still come to is no, it's not. In my mind, at $649 versus $799, that cost difference alone, $150, plus the increase in cost of the case and the difference in cost for the Apple Pencil, does not compel me to jump from the 10.5 to the 11-inch. And really, this is the same for people upgrading. Coming from the 10.5 to the 11-inch, there is not a remarkable difference in the output of work, the work unit that I create to justify the cost. Now, all that said, maybe the 12.9 is something that would interest you more than the 11-inch. I mean, if you're thinking about upgrading from the 10.5, you have to ask yourself, one, is it solving any new problem that I have today, right? So maybe the Pencil, the way that the Pencil charges on the 10.5 is a real pain and you've already broken one. Maybe there's other problems that you have. Maybe the 10.5 is not computationally sufficient enough for you to do whatever work that you do, and you want something like the 11. I think at that point, you can rationalize the purchase, but I don't agree that the 11-inch is that good of a buy for someone that either has a 10.5 today or someone who is kind of brand new into the ecosystem. I think at the price point of $650, the 10.5 is absolutely the best value for someone who wants a keyboard. if you're not capital constrained, right, and you want to spend the money, I think you already know that you are that type of individual, and you're going to go buy the best iPad that there is on the market. Otherwise, for most people, right, who might be a little bit more measured with how they spend their money, the 10.5 inch is going to be the best if you want that dedicated keyboard. Otherwise, the 9.7 inch fits the big swath of individuals. So you're probably asking yourself, where is the iPad mini? I don't have it here on the table, as you can see. The iPad mini is noticeably absent. The iPad mini itself has not been updated in 3 years, give or take. And so I wouldn't really suggest the iPad mini to anyone at this point, unless you had a specific use case for the iPad mini that it was fulfill. Otherwise, if you were getting a significant discount on it, and so our holiday shopping season is upon us, I've seen prices as low as $250 for the 128 gig, which is a good deal. The iPad mini is of good value. I would expect it to be updated probably sometime next year in the second half, and that's what the rumor blogs are saying as well. It makes sense just from kind of a standpoint or from a timing standpoint. Otherwise, just kind of looking at this, the 11 inch and the 12.9, they are wonderful products to use. They're great to kind of create content, to consume content. They're great in the hand. They just feel. It's probably my most favorite designed Apple product at this point, because it's very enveloping, right? Like you pick it up and you're like, this is my iPad, and it feels great. But how good it feels will only go so far, and to me, again, it's not worth $1,100. So let's recap. I think the starting point for a majority of people, right, whether you're new to iPad or whether you are upgrading an existing iPad, including the iPad Air 2, the iPad mini, probably even the first generation 12.9 inch iPad Pro, and especially the 9.7 inch iPad Pro, that this iPad, the 2018 9.7 inch iPad, is the starting point for most people, right? This gets you about 75% of the functionality for about half the cost. You still got the pencil support. If you plan on buying the pencil, that's there. If you have an existing pencil, right, so you don't have to buy a new one. But if you want the dedicated keyboard, you have to ask yourself, is that worth $489? And so $489 is found in, this iPad is $330. This iPad is $650, right? So there's that difference of $320 plus the $159 Apple keyboard. So right there, because the 12.9 inch keyboard will not fit, the 9.7 inch keyboard will not fit. So you have to ask yourself, right, is it worth that money? And for $489, it may or may not be. That's really up to you. Right? I think for a majority of people, it won't be. But if you know that it is, then this is the right iPad. Because if this is not the right iPad and you're looking for the latest and greatest, right, that's going to cost you an extra $150 for the difference in the iPad. So you're at $489, you're at $659, plus an additional $20 for the keyboard. So you're at $679, plus another $130 because you have to buy a brand new Apple Pencil. You're at $800 over this iPad. Thinking about it economically, I think you're getting the most bang for your buck on the 10.5 inch. Again, these are great. The 11 inch and the 12.9 inch are great. They're wonderful to hold. They're a pleasure to use, but I don't think they're right for most people. Unless you have the resources to go just buy them. And I think if you do have the resources to just buy them, you probably haven't stuck around as long as, this point in the video. It's just kind of real talk, right? But if you have, again, I would say start with the 9.7, move to the 10.5 if needed, and then ladder up from there. So that is my take on it. I apologize for a little bit of a raspy voice. Been a little sick and under the weather lately, but let me know in the comments below what you plan to pick up and if any of the new iPads are something that's interesting you. We'll talk to you in the next one.